snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I'm joined by Jokes and Sin.
Yes,
And
sir.
you are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we will discuss not the Super Bowl, not the commercials from the Super Bowl, but maybe some trailers from the Super Bowl.
Just maybe.
We are going to discuss some of the, I don't know, what we think maybe the ramifications. We're going to call them predictions. We're going to do some predictions for what Microsoft, what Phil Spencer and the team are going to say about the Xbox business on this coming Thursday.
Hey, yo.
What up, Cuddy? What up, Candace? Among some other things, we're also going to discuss some of our favorite black characters from animation. Jokes, if you could get that Beacons link up for me, I'd appreciate it. Jokes, while you're doing that, Sin, you have a job to do. If you can knock that out, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
That is an absolute fact. Please, if you haven't already done so, what's up, Marcus? Shoot over and check us out on Patreon. One of our newest endeavors definitely has us has folks talking about wrestling for longer than I want to hear it. However, you, Andrew, happy early birthday.
Hey.
Happy early birthday. What up, Doctor Who? I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I think it was an emoji on
probably,
Twitch,
and it didn't translate.
and it doesn't translate over here.
Right. That's exactly what that was. That's English.
I was like, all right,
Decipher this.
A pop culture reference I don't get. Real quick, let's just kind of get this out of the way early. We will be doing our discussion for Scott Pilgrim versus the World next Monday. So tune in for that. You'll see a post go up in the movie club. If you are a member, if you're not, jump in there. I also want to make sure that you all are aware. Again, the Beacons link is up. And that is one of the best ways, again, to kind of find us everywhere we are. There are a lot of posts that happen across wrestling chat, anime chat, so forth. MCU chat is still a thing. But a lot of that conversation is shifting, moving, or happening also in Discord. And I want to briefly explain to you why that's happening. So one, feel free to make sure you jump in and join our Discord. You are probably going to start seeing more things happening there. When we post videos, they post to the Discord. We play a lot of video games. You can see us online when we're in the Discord. We would like to open Discord up to having more conversations and chatting with people more often within there. Part of the reason for that is because, how can I put this? Facebook is for old people.
Yeah.
Like we have, and listen, if you're offended by that,
AG,
what I'll tell you is me too.
It's just something we just gotta eat.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We have a lot of people that follow us across Instagram, across Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, Kick. We don't really X, but we've had a lot of conversation with people, and generally, if people are like 26 and under, while they will use Facebook Sometimes, maybe. They very rarely check it. They don't often look at it. But they tend to all seem to be in Discord. Like Discord is like they have kind of moved away from Facebook in favor of Instagram, which is great for Meta because they own them both. But outside of doing things like that, and with Instagram not really having that place to build a community outside of Threads. What's up, Heather? Which again, Threads is really, really growing, and I do think it is in a position to usurp what was Twitter, the artist formerly known as Twitter. But Discord is more of where it's at. And so we are really working hard. We've been discussing this for a little over a year now and kind of putting some things in place and moving some puzzle pieces around. And so there is definitely a lot more activity already on Discord. But you should kind of look to see some more of that. And there is the possibility. There are already some locked areas of Discord. So look for some things to maybe hit Patreon if you are a member, and there will be some exclusive lockdown areas of Discord and so forth. But again, we still do want to be able to have places that are open for the community to have discussions, whether they are things that we're talking about. We would love to see topics for shows like this kind of bubble up in Discord. So if there is something that you're seeing and you want to have a discussion, we're looking at wanting to kind of put some mods and things like that in place for people to be able to create spaces that they feel like fit with what our community is, as long as they stay within our community guidelines. So that, we can see what other people are talking about within our community that maybe just we can't see everything.
It's just,
oh no, it's
just Wayne Tat.
Yeah.
I can fix that. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I could, maybe.
I'm about to say, about to boot you out.
Yeah, like be careful.
one wrong click.
Relax.
Wayne Tech, like, oh, you trying to fix something? You trying to fix something? Stop it.
Hopefully that'll help it. So just kind of keep your eyes and minds open. If you're following us across the board, if you're already following us on Beacons or on some of the places that you hear us mention more often, like Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, so forth, please go over and check us out on Discord. Right, gentlemen?
100%.
Got it.
Okay, so now that part's out of the way, we were supposed to have a special guest today, Maki Roll, who is a good friend of ours, who we see, like, I feel like at every convention we go to in some manner or another. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency and could not come, so she asked if we could postpone it. Absolutely, we will. You got to take care of family first. We believe that wholeheartedly. So just wishing her the best. And thank you guys for coming and hanging in and tuning in with us anyway. I'm working on something for next week via a message I got earlier today. So We'll see how that pans out. Now, who would like to start a fight?
Ooh, fight. Let's start fights. Let's do it.
It's me. So I asked the team would be Jokes and Sin, to put together to grab some images of some of their favorite Black characters from animation. And so we're going to start with you, Jokes.
Cool.
And we're going to start with this first person that you sent to me to put up. And by the way, while we're doing this, feel free, you all. Nah, it's not Batman. There's no fight to be had about Batman, Ellis. However, I will tell you that somebody today sent me an Instagram reel to my DM. Somebody Ellis, as a matter of fact. And the guy was like, so my friend just said to me that he feels like Batman only covers half of his face because he wants the police to know he's white, and I can't stop thinking about it. That's
now that you say that, actually, it's funny.
And listen, so that's the thing. You can't stop thinking about it. It just is what it is. while we are doing this, I kind of want you guys to feel free to chime in if you see characters that we don't mention or whatever. Again, these are some of our favorites. We can't do. I mean, we could do this all night, but that's not what the show is about. So let's start with this character because for me personally, well, let me just put the character up. Jokes, talk to me about Brock.
Are we gonna question? Are we gonna throw the question first, or are we just gonna talk about Brock?
I mean, you want me? Hey, listen, is Brock black?
That's the most god black man I've seen.
Let's pose the question. Let's pose the question to the folks watching.
Here's what I want to do. I'm posing the question to you. Yes, I'm fine with posing the question. Listen, by all means, everybody who's watching right now, y'all tell me. What up, Zaina? Is this man Brock from the Pokemon animated show? Is this a black person? That's what I want to know. That's where we are. Yeah, Anthony. Okay. So here's where I'm at. Joe, why did you pick Brock? What's up, Mel?
So Hispanic.
I can see that.
Listen,
I've actually have not heard that one.
I could see it, but sure.
I've actually not heard that one.
That's the one I keep hearing.
Looks like a dark-skinned Asian. Deanna, that is what I said.
Yep, that's what I keep saying.
Okay, so here's where I'm at. This is the thing. What I know, again, y'all know I don't Pokemon. But again, the secret is Afro-Asian. So Heather believes this and of mixed descent. My secret admission is that I did like heavily watch the Pokemon animated show. I'm very familiar. Unfortunately, Ellis says he's tired, which I mean, he looks. Listen, if I look,
we're all over the board. I'm liking that we're all over.
To be clear, I mean,
he said he's black. Jokes. That's the thing.
So what you're saying is on like application stuff, he checks other. When he goes in.
Nah, like I think he checks Asian, but this is the thing. He is from the Kanto region. Is that right, Jokes?
That is valid to say. Definitely so.
Okay. And my understanding is that in Pokemon, the Kanto region is based on Okinawa, Japan.
Fair to say.
Which would, to me, make him Japanese. Look, again, I watched the show as an adult, like in between, like work or whatever, like it just being on the TV. I never got even the smallest inclination that man was or was supposed to be a black person. So I really do want to know, because I'm trying not to accuse you of piccoloing this man, and Dragon Ball know what I'm talking about.
Honorary black man.
Because there's a reason where, like, Piccolo, I'm gonna tell you right now, Piccolo's not on this list. And
no, he's not. I didn't. No, there's certain people I just stayed away from because I thought either Jokes would have a chance of picking them, and said, "Let me just do something different this time."
So I want to know where you got, like, why you feel that way. Like, you watched this as a child, right?
Definitely clearly watched it as a child.
Where's that come
from? I guess just like obviously just saying Naomi Osaka.
I hear you, and I think she's darker than this man, but she be out in the sun playing tennis a lot, so she might not normally be. And again, I'm not saying it's impossible. What I am saying is I don't think they ever allude to it in any way. Only Ellis. I don't think they ever allude to it in any way on the show that he is of mixed descent or black in some way, just that he happens to have a darker complexion than other Asian people on the show. So I want to know why you picked him.
So probably like kind of like you said, the darker skin tone. So growing up, definitely, obviously at points in time, there weren't that many, I guess you could say, black people or like those darker tones that were actually in animation. So I think that was probably seeing like one of the first times like what we consider to be like a black person, or what they were going to be a black person in the show. One
Which
thing
again is part of why I asked that, because I do think, I know for me and some of the people that I have on my list, man said the dude didn't even know the difference between a donut or rice and the dub. I mean, I'm just saying. So like, I do recognize, right, that like we were kind of starved for having characters that look like us on TV. And so I'm just honestly wondering whether or not you just, because he was the darkest person on the show, if like as a child you were just like, oh, now that's the black guy.
Honestly, that kind of is how it was. Like, outside of, for him, until we got further into the show, but there were just elements of him that I like. So he was the very first gym leader that we were introduced to in the show. So when you see him, it's just like, oh snap, he's one of us. I was like, he's a gym leader. He's got some dope Pokemon. Ash beat him, unfortunately. And I felt like after Ash beat him, like his prestige started to decline a little bit. I hate to say that.
Got beat by Ash, and Ash got the worst record.
What?
Hey, listen, dog, I hate to make this comparison. Ash is like my Atlanta Falcons. It's like they will do so great and everything leading up to where it needs to pay off at, and then when you get to where it pays off at,
it's time for the show.
It fails miserably. But yeah, I do think growing up, seeing him on screen, it was that immediate, oh yeah, he's a black person. I don't want to say nothing really resonated with me, like probably like comparison like some of the other characters that I had picked out, or some of the ones we'll pick out. But it was just, I feel like that, oh, there is a black Pokemon trainer, because honestly, through the show until we probably got to some of the newer series, you honestly did not see that. And I mean probably within the last few years, there really wasn't anyone of that darker skin complexion. So I think you may have hit the nose on that one. It was kind of just, we kind of just piccoloed him, I guess, and threw him into the bucket.
Do you think your friends growing up thought the same thing? Like, is that a thing y'all ever discussed? Did y'all I
don't think we ever had that.
Yo, that was selling rocks. You're wild, Ellis.
Stop it.
Like, did y'all ever discuss it? Like, was he other people's like favorite on the show because of that? I think
so. No, definitely there was some others the same concept. I don't think we ever fully had that discussion. I feel like at points in time, and I think Piccolo was kind of the one that really made us start to go and down the road and start picking those like yeah, he's black. And I don't think we dove into it as deep. I think we just, hey, he's black, and we just kept it moving from there.
Okay. I don't really have, I don't think, any further questions or concerns about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide my man into the honorable mentions column just for you, because I don't think my man fits. Oh yeah, Deanna, we're definitely gonna get there. Like a Piccolo.
That's probably the
like
number
Piccolo
one.
Is definitely like
that's number one with a bullet.
Listen, I don't know what happens if you ask people who aren't black, but if you ask anybody who's black who watched Dragon Ball, they will tell you, "Oh no, Piccolo's the black." And here's the thing: I don't even know if we would say that all the Namekians were black.
No, it was just Piccolo.
I mean, I don't know, I want to say just, but like definitely Piccolo. Just,
you know what it count.
Yeah, he's the one that counts. All right, so jokes. Let's run through these. Here's an obvious move.
Easy one. John Stewart, Green Lantern from the Justice League. Honestly, one of the heavy hitters when it came time for the team. This dude meant business. So honestly, if they sent John Stewart, it was like, yeah, he's the serious one. He's going to go in here. He's going to get the job done. Really, no means he'll take care of it one way or the other. Yeah. Definitely someone that we grew with through the 2 seasons of Justice League on there, and I think he stayed consistent the whole way through the whole entire series. Good. I feel like they gave him decent character development through both of them on there.
Definitely.
And with a lot of characters, you don't necessarily get that as much. You want it.
He got some of the best character development because he dated 2 different like main characters throughout the show. Like it was like there are definitely like serious plot points that are tied to that man and what was going on with him.
And like, I mean, just carry like he saved the Justice League's asses a good couple of times throughout the show. And I would say overall, just a solid pick. Solid pick overall.
Shout out to Phil Lamar, voicing that guy. All right. Oh no.
I don't know. I feel like you're. I don't know what happened.
You feel like I'm next?
I felt like when Sin dropped out there, Yoruichi came in, and my man Sin was like, "Oh man, I gotta leave."
Got
Fix yourself, W.
Yeah, I see. I don't know what that's about.
What up, Dub?
You dumb.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Yoruichi, for those that aren't familiar, she's from the anime Bleach. Honestly, probably one of the strongest characters within Bleach. If you're familiar, she was one of the captains at a point in time. Eventually, she stepped aside. She became
100%.
I guess you could say that person that they could look out to when they needed help, but she wasn't necessarily going to just always jump into the middle of every single fight that there was to it. I don't want to spoil because obviously Bleach is still airing. Like I know a lot of people have read the manga. As you get closer in, you find out that she's already strong throughout the show as it is, but then you start seeing her get to strengths that you didn't think that she would actually produce out there. She was a one-woman army. Easily, if I had to pick somebody from the Bleach world to be on my team, she would be the one. Ichigo even still had issues. As strong as Ichigo is within the show and the manga, she is definitely one that still would give him a run for his money. But overall, one of the best characters I think that they could have designed within the show as well too.
She's arguably number one when it comes to black anime characters. Like most people put her at the top billing.
I'll dig it. Sin?
Yeah, Fire Force. My man Ogun Montgomery. He's like a side character in the show. If I remember, I think he shows up till season 2, if I'm thinking correctly. But what just drew me to him, I like this look. Gage, we came up when animation wasn't necessarily too kind to, black people in animation. So when I see a black character that I think has a cool look and such, you know what I'm saying? They give him some amazing abilities and powers. Like this dude is in the show, they have firehouses. They put out demon fires. No, we can get into that later. But he's in a different firehouse than the main characters. But he's a 3rd generation pyrotechnic, so he can actually create fire, where like 2nd generations can like manipulate fire, whatever. And he used it for like swords and spears. And he's gonna be badass when you see him. And I'm hoping when season 3 does finally come out, we get to see him a little bit more because he's one of those side characters they showed that a lot of people liked. So I would like to see him, come back and get a little bit more shine because he's pretty solid.
Dig it. Let's hit the fables, bro.
Oh, come on now. That's the man right there. That's Captain Usopp. So should we call him God Usopp? That's who he is. Come on now. Nah, that's one of the Straw Hats. One of my guys. He's known for sharpshooting, and he can tell the biggest lie ever in life. And he tells the best stories, and he always pulls them out in the right situations to save his ass because he's scared all the time, pretty much. But also, what people don't give him credit for, he is super clutch. Right. I don't know how many times during the arc he comes so clutch.
Good character.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yes.
Before Oda actually said, like when he was going down the list and saying where everybody would be from. Did you think he was black before Oda said he was from Africa?
Yes.
Is it because of the bucket hat and the headphones?
No.
And the afro?
Before the animation style change, I started with the original animation style. So it was like, seeing that, like, all right, the big lips, unfortunately, all that stuff. Like, all right, Usopp black.
Yeah,
You know, the curly kind of nappy hair, whatever. Like
honestly,
Yeah,
his
he
father,
came
his
from-
father, you could tell a little bit more for. I feel like because his father had even bigger lips than Usopp did, so it was
Yeah.
just that straight up like, oh yeah, he black.
the blonde
Yeah.
dreads.
Yeah,
Island boy. Yeah.
straight up island boy. All right.
Yes, and Canary from Hunter x Hunter, who's one of the good things about that show. Yeah, she is a complete badass, and you don't really get to see her flexible when you do. It's big. She is the assistant butler to the Zoldyck family, and the Zoldyck family is like international top of the top tier assassins, and she's the apprentice butler, and she's just as terrifying as the rest of them. And there's a couple times during the show you actually get to see her like use her abilities and flex, and everybody's scared of her. So you can imagine everybody's terrified of the apprentice butler, what the family is like. So she is.
Hey, though, I need you to because here's the thing. I think we had this discussion once. I tried to watch Hunter x Hunter, and I was just like, I can't do it.
Oh,
But
don't get me started.
just listen, just don't do that. Don't listen. That's not the point.
Okay.
What I do need to know is because it doesn't sound like a good position to be in to be the assistant butler. That make you sound like the help. And I'm just trying to but you said assistant butler, like a butler might be some sort of important magical kind of a position or whatever. You're the way you said it. I'm like, if you don't know, I'm like, hold on.
Basically, they're the protectors of the family.
Butler.
Yeah,
they're the protectors of the family. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Got
don't mess with the butlers.
You don't mess with the butlers.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. I just needed some clarification because it wasn't sounding.
Probably should have just said the way Alfred would go to bat for Bruce and all of them. That's how she is.
Okay, yeah, that's them for the Zoldyck family.
With actual abilities. I think that's just
Doctor Who says yeah.
All right, so what happened? Doctor Who said what?
She's their security for the family. Yeah,
okay,
they're protected. Look out for.
I appreciate it. All right, got it. Butler's isn't Alfred's technically in the same way, but I just for those unfamiliar, I needed to. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do because Deanna asked if they were characters that we felt like were black. I have a couple of honorable mentions because I just felt like it was necessary to say so. And again, the era I came up in dealing with animation,
I know a couple of them probably about to put up there.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of is what it is. So when I was coming up, it was incredible to have a dude like this. My man Roadblock. Just G.I. Joe, classic, taking no BS, running it down. And my favorite, like in the G.I. Joe movie, when that dude got stuck.
You need to get me a award for that, dog. I'm sorry.
With Cobra Commander, bro.
I was once a man. I'm a kid.
Oh man,
so great.
That was good.
But while I had Roadblock, I also had this dude right here,
and Anthony McNair. Bam.
So my man Jazz, straight up, again, does he have the skin of a no? But let me tell you about the soul of this robot right here. It pains me because oh man, you okay over there, Sim? It pains me because even in the live action joint, the way Jazz died felt so disrespectful, and I remember being in there like, why they do the black one like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Because Megatron just tore that man in half, just ripped him in half and chucked him, and I'm like, what? You know,
disrespect.
Yeah,
1,000%.
1,000%. Listen.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. Kenny Holiday, who voiced Jazz, is blackety black. He's a black man.
Oh yeah,
Martian Manhunter, definitely, and also like in many newer iterations, at least,
yeah.
When he changes himself into a human,
yeah,
that's what he looks like. Oh, you mean this man?
That one.
Right?
Yeah, I knew he was coming.
You had to know Panthro was
Yeah.
on the list. Like, again, we Earl Hyman, who, for those who might not recognize the name, if you ever watched The Cosby Show coming up, he was Bill Cosby's father. He played the kid's grandfather. He was the voice of Panthro. And so again, like growing up, like not that. I mean, obviously, on a show like Thundercats, they're animals. There's no
Right.
quote unquote skin to them. But like, if like, there was no part of me that didn't feel like, well, Lionel's clearly white, and so is Chitara, and so is Tigra, and so are Wily Cat and Wily Kit, and you know what I'm saying. And it's just like Panthro was it. Like he was the one, and my man had the nunchaku with the cat paws on the end of the joint. Like, yeah, he was dope. And of course, coming up off the Black Belt Theater, man, I love some nunchucks. Don't play with me. So I just want to give a shout out to my man Cleveland.
Hey, no.
Oh, Peter.
Hey, listen. Of the strength of what Family Guy was, the comeback that Family Guy had, and then getting your own spin-off show, right? Not voiced by a black man, I will say, at least not originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland is just, I mean, he's named after a football team, bro. Cleveland Brown, bro. It's the Cleveland Browns, bro. It is so on point. It is the kind of Family Guy humor. You didn't even catch that, did you?
You didn't realize that?
It is the kind of like he is the Brown
That's
man.
Mr. He didn't get it.
He's
done.
So on the nose. Only Family Guy, bro, can do that and get away with it. All right, listen, I gotta give a shout out to number 5.
That was one of my honorable mention ones.
Listen, one of my favorites, Cree Summer, whose voiceover bag is too heavy to lift. Again, number 5 just kind of stood out. Codename Kids Next Door, did have a relatively eclectic cast, but I do think that it says something that they made the only 2 females in the group were also the ones who were ethnically different. Like, again, they were, the Asian one and the black one were the 2 females, and I do think that mattered. At a time when, again, we just didn't get a lot of that. What's up?
I don't remember Silverhawks like that. But Alfonso said, Hot Wing. Is there a black named Hot Wing?
Hot Wing? Hey, listen, Hot Wing.
All right, so listen. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
I got to order a Hot Wing.
Probably so, but like in the same way that like on He-Man, there was that dude named Clamp Champ, who was the black dude that just had like the claw thing that was on his, like he had that he wore around his waist. As long as you didn't say Copper Kid, and I give you Hot Wing. I certainly didn't. Hey, listen, Huey Freeman, Uncle Ron.
Yep.
Listen, now I will say this. You know what I'm saying? Like the homie Craig from Craig of the Creek is a stone cold beat. Like, hey, listen.
Is that a table leg with a gym on it?
Hey, listen, bro. Let me tell you something. Craig of the Creek, like that, bro. That show is so good. I know we talked about it before, and I brought Craig up before when we talked about specifically our favorite black protagonists in animation.
Yeah.
This was kind of like, let's just talk characters. Now, I'm going to throw something that might make some people upset, but let me tell you how there was a time
Skeeter.
All right, so look, Jason, here's the thing. Skeeter ain't no Piccolo though. You know what I'm saying? But like, he was the blue one, so I guess
he was. I felt like he was. I mean, so was Roger, because Roger was also
Roger
a shade
was
of
like green though.
Yeah, he was another shade of green.
Nah, but Roger definitely wasn't. He wasn't. This might make some people upset, but again, like growing up, this is what I got to see.
From Tom and Jerry.
Hey, bro, I gotta shout out Mammy Two Shoes. Gotta shout out Mammy Two Shoes because even like coming up later, like it. Look, there certainly was a certain level of racist depiction that went along with it, but like the fact that under most circumstances she was voiced by a black actress at a time when it was like, nah, we're not giving you work. We won't put you on screen. We're not, you're talking about like June Foray did it for years. Oh, my man, Bulletproof Vest from Cops. No T on vest. Say it like black folks. Bulletproof Vest from Cops. Running the whole show. That's a classic one right there, Alfonso. Shout out to BP Vest. Yeah, man, Mammy Two Shoes was just like, she had her own house. She ran it like she wasn't the maid. She wasn't like, it was her house. She ran the house. I mean, it was mice in the house, clearly, but like, but like, you know what I mean? Like, she had to be doing some form of okay. Like, I do think that even though there were stereotypes and there were definitely certain things about that character that, again, are just regular old racist tropes, I also think that there were things about those depictions that, whether they wanted it to be that way or not, actually did show a black woman in a positive light in terms of like, again, it wasn't like there was kids running around and no father. This is a woman who's in her house, who does her shopping, who goes and moves around town freely and whatever, and has a cat and a dog. I mean, and a mouse. You know what I mean? And just come through with the broom and get it cracking. But she wasn't cleaning for somebody else. She wasn't, you know what I mean? And like, if you ever really watch Tom and Jerry, which Tom and Jerry is literally one of my favorite, like it is. I love like the good Tom and Jerry. There are some terrible like Tom and Jerry, like the Chuck Jones Tom and Jerry's are pretty terrible. But those ones that they have the biggest yards, the largest house. They run through rooms
left
kitchens that lead into dining rooms, that lead into dining rooms, that lead into living rooms, that lead into staircases, that lead to upstairs. Like they just giant houses. And I'm like, how this woman got all this house in like 1940? You know what I mean? Like it's there's some things there. All right, one more.
Yes.
Tom and Jerry was absolutely amazing. Listen, I gotta shout out my man Joe Gardner from Soul. Disney kind of has this, they did the whole thing with Tiana. We talked about Tiana, again, when we did Protagonist. If you haven't seen the movie Soul, one, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good movie. But also just the mute, like listen, I'm a music guy. And just as a character, I think that Joe Gardner does such a good job of embodying what I feel like people who are kind of old jazz musicians, like it just kind of it painted a really brilliant picture. I think that was an honest and true depiction, which is something that so often we just don't really get to see. So again, if you haven't seen Soul, highly recommend it. You all feel free to keep dropping, some of those things you've seen in the comments. Some of the folks that you have thought of or that come to mind. Again, it doesn't have to be TV shows, could be movies, could be, really anywhere in animation. But just felt like it was kind of important to highlight some of what we have seen and talk a little bit about how little of it we've seen. And like, it can be actually pretty hard to think of and come up with characters to do something like that and just say like, yo, name some cool black characters or, you know, whatever from animation. It's definitely harder than it should be. So want to make sure we highlighted that. Now, Franklin from the Peanuts getting his, I guess, comeuppance. You know what I mean? Apple TV putting the new show together about Franklin. I'm very interested to see how that turns out. Yeah. Yeah, there is a new special for him on Apple Plus. Where they do finally invite him. If you've ever seen, you know, the picture of the Thanksgiving, the Peanuts Thanksgiving special, as the only black character from the Peanuts, you will notice that he is sitting by himself at the table. They're all sitting down at Thanksgiving table, at the Thanksgiving table outside, and everyone is at the table together, including like Snoopy and Woodstock. And he is on the opposite side of the table sitting by himself. And in the trailer for this show, he is on the opposite side of the table by himself and is invited to come on the other side of the table and sit with the rest of them, which is just a correction that I feel like, you know, they're making the moves to correct. What's up, Perp? So I think it's very cool. I'm very interested to see, you know, how they do it. The animation style on it looks really good in the trailer. So super interested to check it out, though. I don't have Apple TV Plus, and I won't get it to watch that. So we'll see how that turns out. But if you watch it, let me know. In the meantime, let's misbehave a little bit.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson?
Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right, so hold on a second. Here's what I want to do. I kind of want to break this down as things are happening, right? Because, all right, first of all, Wade Wilson has hair. Let's just talk about it for a second. And there were a lot of characters in that room who should be dead.
Right?
Yeah.
Shatterstar was in there. He should be dead. Like everybody who was in X-Force basically died.
Yep.
Right?
And so, and if you remember the end of the last Deadpool movie, like my man started messing around with time travel, which is like perfect that here we are now, and outside of his door is the TVA.
TVA!
Now, why they knocked on the door, I don't know. But like
Yeah, the TV I remember.
correct. Let's see how this goes.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Breaking
right,
all the fourth walls. I love it.
All right, so listen. We're already in trouble. We're already in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I've already decided there are people who can't see this movie. Like this is not happening. They open a time door and they grab my man. They grab my man and take his wig.
Throw the wig off. Like, nope.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me.
Right in the TV.
Wait. You are special. This is your chance to be a hero among heroes.
smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus.
Hey, yo, the split killed me. Hey, listen. I can't.
And then why you make me stop jokes? You like, hey, listen.
And look, the Fox studio joint in the back, just in the dust. I died laughing when I first saw that.
In the dirt, like just clearly my man's fighting in front of it. He constantly breaks the fourth wall. You know, I'm already liking what I'm seeing with the gunplay. You know what I mean? And all we're doing is reloading right now. Like I'm good with that.
God, please! Oh my God! God, I love this part. What?
You know that was pyro, right?
Uh-huh.
I found that out after. Yeah.
Okay.
And then got breaking the wall right there. You can't see it quite well here, but off to the left, that is actually a Secret Wars comic. I believe it's issue number 5.
It's like 51 or whatever. Yeah, it's a Secret Wars comic with Dr. Doom's face on it.
Face on edge. I was like, oh my.
right on the left hand side of the screen. It's a little out of control.
Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
All right, so look. It's hilarious. I missed the sneak peek from Sunday. Let me tell you something. This joint has the potential to save all of whatever it is that Marvel is doing.
So that was Peyton.
Yo. I mean, here's the thing. There are moments in this, you know, obviously you see him in the TVA, which is cool. That's a great way to kind of tie things in. Mm-hmm. Clearly there's multiverse and they're showing him things that are happening in different places. Are we killing the Fox universe? Do you think?
Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Why is this Deadpool and Wolverine?
I hadn't quite pieced that one together. Like, obviously, I'm thinking we're bringing in the mutants. I'm guessing that the universe, or at least what I'm thinking, I've said beforehand, I'm pretty sure that this Wolverine, I feel like, is the one from X-Men 97. I don't know how necessarily we're going to get to that point just yet, because I don't think.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it's the one from X-Men 97?
Because of having the yellow suit. Like, obviously in what was that? The Wolverine, he was given a suit, but it was more of the brown older version of the suit than the traditional yellow and blue suit. So that was the main reason why I was thinking that maybe this is the one from X-Men 97. I'm
gonna tell you that in my opinion, I feel like they are going to maintain that X-Men 97 is its own universe. Like within, like it's a multiverse, but it's its own. Like I don't think they would pull a live action version from the animated version. Like I feel like the animated version is that multiverse. Like they're just animated in that, and what happens in that universe is what it is. Like I think if they were going to do something like that, kind of like how you see the animated version of Spectacular Spider-Man in You know, like in the Spider-Man movie when they're looking at all the different ones. Deanna said, I feel like it's a modern Wolverine. Again, we see Wolverine in like how we've seen him in the suit with the white jacket. We see the back of him.
Multiple Logans.
I agree, buddy. I think we're getting multiple Logans. I think we're getting multiple Deadpools. That's what I think. Although, whatever it is that is allowing, let's see, but they'll give him the yellow costume. Take this out. Yeah. I think. I personally think. Again, they're gonna find a way to obviously tie this in. I think they'll probably tie it in some way to the end of the Marvels, right? Because we end up in the X-Men universe with Beast in that, in that movie. So I think they'll find a way to tie it into that. I think this will be a great way for them to pick and choose. One, I think this movie's gonna have a ton of cameos. Like I think they're gonna do, but I think they'll be able to pick and choose who survives and who doesn't.
You know what I just thought about? Maybe who it could be. This could be technically the Logan from the end of Days of Future Past, because we never really got. Obviously, he had to get filled in on everything that happened, like in that 10 or 15 year gap that they didn't really explore. So that could be maybe that Logan, and maybe he eventually, got the yellow suit, became that could be especially if we get multiple Logans.
Yeah, again, I mean, look, I have to imagine that in some way, as much as I like Hugh Jackman and think he's been great for the role, I don't think they continue with him moving forward.
No, this will be the last hurrah.
If anything, this is probably going to be passing the torch. So I don't know if they'll pull a Wolverine out of another universe, and then he's just going to be like, "Who the F are you?"
Yeah, Perp says it would be cool to see, them bring an animated version from the show into live action in like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of thing. Kind of thing. And look, if there's a place where they could pull it off, it would be in a Deadpool movie.
Deadpool,
what I mean? Where they could get away with doing something like that, it would be in a Deadpool movie. We do momentarily see someone who looks like Professor X, the back of a bald head. I don't think that's Professor X. I think that's his sister. I don't really like that, to be honest, but there has to be a bad guy, I guess. We'll see how that goes. I think it's Cassandra Nova. Do you think they'll intro a younger Wolvie? I do think that they will, in some manner, use this as an opportunity to introduce a younger Wolverine. It would not surprise me if, in some manner, more than one Wolverine makes it. I can see there being a Hugh Jackman in something like Secret Wars, where you have all of these battles, and you're kind of narrowing it down to the ones that survive and those who make it. It is the last version of Secret Wars in the comics that allowed for Miles Morales, who was in the Ultimate version of the comics, and Peter Parker, who are from the Standard 616, to both end up in the same universe. So you have both of those characters there. So the ability for them to say, we're at least in Secret Wars going to have a younger version, an older version, and maybe that younger version is the one that survives it in some manner. Do we see Kang at some point in the movie? I feel like we only see Kang in the movie if they are making fun of him in some way.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Ryan Reynolds, it will be because he got beat by Ant-Man.
And I will be so happy with that.
Straight up, that's what I think. Cuddy says, this was Ryan's passion to pull in Hugh. So yes, the last film for him, let alone Ryan's passion from the beginning. I'm down for the crazy ride.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah. If you saw when this went live, Hugh Jackman.
Let me fix this.
By all means, Joe.
Oh no, I'm just going by his post what he said. So he put up a post. It was like Wolverine an asshole, and I was like,
change the title, post it as a title, right? And Ryan Reynolds is in the comments like, "Oh, you don't want to do this? Like we just debuted this. Like, now, you want to start now? You already know it's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, red carpet for
I'm
that's gonna be
like
stupid.
thoroughly excited about that. Let's watch another trailer. One more.
The best way to bring folks together
Something has changed within me.
is to give them a real good enemy.
You're green. I am. Something is not the same. Something just takes over me. And when it does, bad things happen.
Once you learn to harness your emotions, the sky's the limit.
Bring her to me.
Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Listen, let me tell you something. I think
What?
that joint's gonna be incredible.
I do too.
I think that joint is going to be incredible. I think that joint's taking awards.
Okay.
I think that joint is potentially the best movie that comes out this year. Outside of like some like weird surprise joint nobody knew was coming. Honestly. Yeah, I don't generally have thoughts on Wicked.
I might end up going to see it just because Wizard of Oz was my mother's favorite movie. So
Hey,
I
listen,
feel like I might
like
just go see it just because of that.
it is highly popular. I would have liked to have seen the play, like
Play, yeah, I agree.
to see the play. I just never allowed myself to do that. The Anna said I saw the musical for the first time last year. The Kennedy Center is it's amazing story wise. I think, man, listen. I think that joint is going to be incredible. All right. Sin, I'm gonna mark you down for tickets to go see Wicked. Never watched the music. Purpose, I never watched the musical, but what?
Yeah, but I want to know. I
one
know
of
it's
the
one of the bigger ones out there.
Been around for a long time, like
Yeah.
a very long time. And look, it's the property itself. And, the Wizard of Oz like has been around long enough that I think that there's potential for other really great side stories that come from within that world. That there have been some that were explored. That, there was an animated show not too long ago. Stuff like there's stuff that's been explored, but I think that this, having a musical, having to do Broadway, having to get back to off Broadway and so forth, like a lot of people see it. There are a lot of people who love it and love the songs and so forth. But putting it in theaters, whatever, putting it on streaming services gets it in front of a lot more people.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a potential for this to be much bigger, and therefore, as a franchise, to truthfully reinvigorate that franchise in ways that I just think haven't been seen before. And so I think this is it. Just off the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is gonna be a big thing. Cause we're talking about the theaters, I'm just gonna say I saw that Phantom Menace is coming back to theaters. Do we care?
I'm actually gonna go see it in theater again. Just like for me, that was my first Star Wars movie. I just want to see it again. They'll better resolution in comparison to then, so it'll be interesting to go see it.
May 3rd,
Okay.
to celebrate the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
I done, I don't know if I'm going to see this. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like,
I know I'm not. I have mine here if I need to see it.
I mean, I don't know if I
It wasn't one of those for me. Yeah, that I had to go back to the theater and see it again.
I actually like the movie. Like, it's cool. I don't have issues with the movies like some people, but like, I don't know if I need to see it again. That's not a joint that's gonna get me to be like, oh, the theater. Gotta go. Like, that's not it. That's not the one. Disney also made a really big investment in Epic, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. That's for another day. What we do have to discuss as briefly as possible is this. Last week, after all of the rhetoric that was happening online, Phil Spencer made a post and said, we've been planning to have a discussion, a business update discussion. We'll let you know something next week. And so yesterday, they posted that they are, in fact, going to have that discussion tomorrow. No, Thursday. Thursday, 3 p.m. on the official Xbox podcast. Jokes, is that what you were expecting to hear?
Not podcast. No, I kind of thought it was going to be like your normal developer type thing that maybe they would do, but on the podcast. So unless this is just some way that they want to try to get people to start tuning into the podcast more, but I don't know. To me, that just didn't seem. It's not the realm that I was expecting from it.
What about you, Sin?
I agree. When I saw a podcast, it threw me off. Like, it's not gonna be like y'all sitting on the stage, y'all got the cameras, and we're watching you talk. We can see.
It's gonna be video.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is it because the Xbox podcast is it's on their YouTube channel. Like, it's on the Xbox YouTube channel. It posts every week, so it is a broadcast. So, but
maybe they're doing it that way. Maybe they're doing it that way. So, like, if it was like the normal presentation, maybe you're expecting, a new trailer for some new game or something like that. But maybe because it's a little more grounded within the podcast realm, it's just more that casual conversation. He could say that, hey, ABC is coming next week or something like that. He could absolutely do it. But I feel like maybe your people won't be expecting announcement. Like, I don't know how to.
I mean, to me, while I was surprised by it, only sort of, because when he posted last week saying, "Oh, we've been planning a business to talk about the future. We've been planning kind of a business update to talk to people about it." My thought on that was, well, clearly they need to finally talk about what their plans are now that the Activision Blizzard thing is done. Right? So if you remember when they acquired Bethesda, right? They did like a fireside chat. It was like Phil and a couple of the leaders from the Xbox side, along with
the Bethesda side.
Todd and folks from the Bethesda side, kind of sitting down and talking about why it was good that they were coming together, what their plans were in terms of working with the studios, and what we could expect as the consumers now that they made the acquisition to expect from Bethesda games. And that was when Phil came out and said, look, we made this so that we could put those games wherever Game Pass lives. That's when he made that initial statement. So to me, this was probably going to initially be, hey, we made this acquisition. I'm sure you're wondering what's going on with Call of Duty, Tony Hawk, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, Spyro, like whatever. Here's what's going on. Is what I think the initial plan for this probably was in some manner. And because it specifically calls out that it's Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, these are the three heads of Microsoft Gaming. Like, Matt Booty is now overseeing, he was doing like just Microsoft Game Studios. Now he's like overseeing Activision if I recall correctly, right? And Sarah Bond has been basically made the new head of Xbox, while Phil Spencer is the head of Microsoft Gaming. So he's technically not just responsible for Xbox; he's responsible for
PC
all of
side and
gaming as it
everything,
falls under Microsoft. So I want to talk about what some of your expectations are, what you expect them to say, how you think they're going to frame some of it. But before I do that, I want to talk about some of the new rumors that have happened since the last time we discussed this, right? Some of what's going on. So, now some of what had been rumored has been walked back by some of the people who put those rumors out in terms of like, oh, like Starfield is going to PlayStation. Like they're talking about putting Starfield on PlayStation, right? So now they're saying, it looks like that was a thing they were talking about doing, and now they're not really going to do that. But like Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, definitely coming to other platforms, right? And probably still Sea of Thieves coming to other platforms. We've already talked about Sea of Thieves. We've talked about Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think we need to talk about Pentiment in terms of the size of what that game is and so forth and what it means if that goes to other platforms or whatever. But just kind of wanted to make sure that I say to you that they've kind of, at least the people who are putting it, again, we don't have anything official from Xbox, right? But the people who are putting those things out there have kind of walked some of that back. I will also say this. There were new rumors that hit like today or yesterday that so Phil Spencer did have like a chat with the Xbox teams because again, you like have all these layoffs and stuff happening in the gaming industry. Microsoft just laid off like 1,900 people, or whatever. Like, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. You're probably hearing things. You're probably seeing things and whatever and wondering if like that news has gotten out before it gets to you or whatever. We're still going to make hardware. We're still, you know what I mean? Like those things are things that he said to the team. Like, we're still going to do hardware. We're not getting out of the hardware business, blah, blah, blah. So that has all but been confirmed that he had a conversation or sent out an email to the team at Xbox and said those things. Now, on the heels of that, the rumor is that Jason Ronald, who is the guy that we would see sometimes on screen with a really, really long beard, was the person who was like the architect behind the Xbox One and the Series S and X and the speed and making sure that they didn't overheat and all that kind of stuff, right? The rumor now is that he is no longer doing hardware, but that the Microsoft Surface team is now helming the next Xbox.
Ooh.
Right? And there have been some rumors around handheld stuff and so forth, but the rumor is that Surface team is in some manner. What I've seen says they're helming the next Xbox. That's what it's not the original or what was the old Xbox hardware team. So again, I just want to put that out there before we start speculating about what we think we're going to see, some of the things that are being said, right? Again, Starfield Indiana Jones walked back. But again, still could happen later. Might be like, well, nah, we're not going to do it now, maybe later, whatever. So having said those things, Sam, I'm going to start with you. What do you expect the message to be to the community, to the Xbox community? Before we talk gamers at large, what do you expect the message to be to the Xbox community on Thursday?
Don't believe everything you see on social media. Everything's under control, and we have a plan. I think that's the angle they'll probably overall try to take by addressing some of these rumors and such. That's at least what I'm hoping that they do is calm the masses.
Just to clarify, you expect them to specifically address the rumors, like
not all of them.
In other words, like, hey, we know what's being said out there. We're not getting out of the hardware business, or yes, we're getting out of the hardware business. Like one way or the other, going to clarify it. That's what
yes, 100%. Yeah, that's what I would like to hear from as a fan and a consumer of the Xbox product. So just say that you don't have to spend too long on it. Just come out there, put everybody's mind at ease, and then you can go back and get on to whatever we're here to talk about numbers and what's going on with Activision, all that kind of other stuff. So that's me.
Jokes. What do you expect?
I definitely expect them just to fully reassure the Xbox fan base. Talking about the strength of Game Pass, the power of what it's done. We're going to continue to support it. Obviously, that is the future. I do think, just like Sin said, the hardware is still coming. We want to make sure that people that want to have a.
Do you think they're going to tell you? You do think they're going to say, "Yeah, we're still doing hardware"? Like, you don't think they're getting out of the hardware business? Okay.
I don't think they're going to get out of the hardware. I think they're going to address them. Like, listen, we have some strategic things that we want to go after, but the hardware is going to remain in place for the next, say, I think at this point we know there's at least the upgraded series consoles that we're going to see. Maybe after that, then
I mean, we don't know, right? Like, I mean, we saw documents that leaked or whatever from the Activision thing or whatever with the FTC earlier, but after that hit, like, yes, the stuff leaked, but they did address it and say, that was from like 2 years ago, and a lot has changed, right? And so some of that may be right, it may not be right. We don't know for a fact that stuff is coming. We're just assuming that something is coming, because if you look at those same documents, it said that we should have a new Doom game already, and we don't. And you know what I mean? So, G says they either need to come with new systems or kill the hardware. Yeah, but come with new systems when? What does that mean? Does that mean an update to the current X and S? Does that mean a whole new generation? Because I think it's a little early for that. What does that mean, G? Jokes. Let me ask this, since we're kind of on you saying what you expect them to say. If you're Phil Spencer and you're talking to the community, how do you frame that? I mean, I guess, like, as a consumer, right? What would you want to hear to put you at ease? You know what I mean? Like, are you even upset about any of these rumors? Does it even matter to you?
Not at all. Like, the rumors of Xbox games being able to be played on a PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, I'm all for it. I'm happy that these players on the other consoles, like, let's be real here. Everybody can't go out and buy a Series X, a PlayStation 5, and a Nintendo Switch. It's a lot of people, it's just not possible. And so some of those games they're missing out on. I'd be so happy if they let's just random, like we've heard, Gears of War, whatever title, whatever it could be. I'm going to be happy for someone on a different platform to be able to experience something like that normally wouldn't be able to. So it doesn't bother me in the one bit. I do think they're going to fully support the Xbox community and say, listen, thank you for all your years and being behind the Xbox family, from the original Xbox 360, the ones, the series, like from going from the ground up. We want to thank you. We want you to know we are still here. We are going to support everything, updates, whatever it may be. But we want to do more. I think it's going to be something super simple, but we want to do more. I think it's how he's going to probably frame it.
What about you, Zen?
The exclusivity thing doesn't bother me. Like, I'm with Jokes. Like, if somebody gets to experience Gears of War, Halo Infinite, all that kind of stuff for the first time over on PC or PlayStation, kudos. Like, you know what I'm saying? They make more money, more people get involved in the franchises. Like, the more they grow, they can make good Halo shows, maybe, just stuff like that. So I think that part's a good thing in the long run. And yes, everybody can't afford a console. I get it that we're blessed enough to be able to do that. But then if you have the games going everywhere, it really doesn't bother me, honestly, either way. I'm a gamer. I'm always going to be a gamer. Whichever way that the landscape is shifting or changing, whatever it's evolving to, I'm going to be a part of that too. You can't, whatever's coming, either get on board or get out of the way. Like, people didn't want, online all the time at first. It's standard now. You know what I mean? It's just, these things come from a mile away. You just got to keep your eye on it. Just deal with it. Everything's going digital. Like, I get it. People want to be able to have their physical stuff and play them. It's just the way the world's going. So just got to roll with the punches.
Something I think is interesting. So in Microsoft's annual report from last year for 2023, this is from October 2023. In their financial, when they talk about gaming, I'm gonna read a couple of paragraphs from what they say specifically. The gamer remains at the heart of the Xbox ecosystem. We are identifying new opportunities to attract gamers across a variety of different endpoints through our first and third-party content and business diversification across subscriptions, ads, and digital stores. We've seen new devices from third-party manufacturers along with key PC and mobile endpoints that help us empower gamers to play in a way that is most convenient to them. We are focused on growing the platform and expanding to new ecosystems to engage as many gamers as possible. If you take just that paragraph, right? We are focused on growing the platform. The platform. Gamer remains at the heart of the Xbox ecosystem. Okay, so we are focused on growing the platform and expanding to new ecosystems. So they're at the heart of the Xbox ecosystem, but we are focused on growing the platform and expanding to new ecosystems to engage as many gamers as possible. Now, they talk mobile, we've talked TVs,
PC.
Right? PC is obviously a thing that's in there, but when you're already doing PC and mobile, and they mention those things, and you say we're focused on growing the platform and expanding to new ecosystems. To me, that means you want to get your ecosystem in somebody else's ecosystem, right? Like that's what that sounds like to me. The next paragraph reads, Xbox enables people to connect and share online gaming experiences that are accessible on Xbox consoles, Windows-enabled devices, and other devices. Xbox is designed to benefit users by providing access to a network of certified applications and services to benefit our developer and partner ecosystems by providing access to a large customer base. Xbox revenue is mainly affected by subscriptions and sales of first and third-party content as well as advertising. That joint doesn't say anything about consoles.
Nope.
I'm going to read that again. Xbox revenue is mainly affected by subscriptions and sales of first and third-party content as well as advertising. Growth of our gaming business is determined by the overall active user base through Xbox-enabled content, availability of games, providing exclusive game content that gamers seek, the computational power and reliability of the devices used to access our content and services, and the ability to create new experiences through first-party content creators. So now, the providing exclusive game content that gamers seek. If you are in Game Pass, could there be things that are exclusive to Game Pass? Yes. Yeah. Does that mean that they are exclusive to the Xbox console? Not necessarily, because Game Pass is already on PC. So they can't just say console. The second part of that sentence, the computational power and reliability of the devices used to access our content and services. So again, Samsung TVs, mobile devices, etc. Right? Could that be a PlayStation? Absolutely. Does it mean Steam Deck? Absolutely. Does it mean Rogue Ally? Absolutely. Right? And the ability to create new experiences through first-party content creators. So they now have more first-party content creators than anybody else on the planet. Right? Their biggest rivals, as they note in this business, they say are Apple, Google, and Tencent. They only mention Nintendo and PlayStation when they specifically discuss consoles.
Right.
But in terms of business, revenue, and They so is there a possibility that we could see something like, could we see Starfield on PlayStation? Sure. Would it bother me? Maybe somewhere deep down inside, only because here's the thing. I think that most of the people who are upset because they feel like they've been lied to. And even if they haven't technically been lied to, right? Like Phil Spencer has been saying for years, like, we want everybody to play games. We want to put games everywhere because there's so many, you know what I mean? Like, so that's been being said. Still, a word like exclusives gets thrown around so much and so often and is so commonplace in the discussion of video games, right? So when you talk Steam, you don't talk exclusives. It's just going to Steam. And in a lot of cases, it's just assumed. So much so that when Epic released their own rival to Steam, the first thing they did was go out and hand out a lot of money to get exclusives on the Epic Game Store. Do you remember that? And like we had a lot of discussion about people being upset about Epic paying these people to have stuff on. Yeah, it's on PC, and yes, you can play it, but now you have to access it through the Epic launcher instead of through the Steam launcher. That made people upset, right? Especially because the Steam launcher had been around longer and was just better, right? But you don't hear people say necessarily launching exclusively on Steam.
Yeah,
it's not a thing.
Never hear that. Yeah,
it's not a thing. Now, sometimes you see it, like people just be like, it's on Steam or wishlisted on Steam. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes it's coming to consoles too. Sometimes it's not. But there are a lot of cases where something releases and it's only on Steam because that's just where, if you're making a PC game, that's just kind of where people put it. Like it's almost like a default, right? So getting to a place like where maybe you don't have to say exclusive. Exclusive just makes the people in your ecosystem feel better.
Yeah.
Because they feel like
I'm getting something that nobody else is getting.
Right. Isn't that special? It's like being VIP.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're going out and you just pay the regular price for your ticket and you get access like everybody else does, right? If you go to a concert, you do recognize that there are people who are at the stage and they paid a lot more money than you did if you're in the nosebleeds, right? Here's what's crazy. VIP might get a little extra backstage and a little whatever, but a lot of times they up in a box higher up than the nosebleeds watching
on the TV.
I mean, they get food and getting other stuff. There's an experience that comes with it, right? But like they pay for that, right? So like when you hear exclusives, when you make a decision based on those things, and when the competition or the people who have chosen the competition come at you one way or the other, that's what your defense was, right? It's always that, right? See, that's me. I pay VIP to meet Keanu Reeves. That's a VIP do be a scam. I mean, I'm just saying, it's a you're paying for an experience that isn't necessarily the best concert viewing experience. That's just, you know what I'm saying? So like, we do Comic-Cons all the time. There are people who do VIP. They get early access, get to come in an hour early or, you know, something like that. Those things, you know.
Yeah. Indeed,
Zaina. It is one of those things that like exclusives, you're exclusive if you're in the that's the VIP room. You know what I'm saying? I'm exclusive. That's exclusive. Not everybody gets to come in here. Right. And it makes you feel special. So, I got to go backstage. I got backstage pass. I'm special. That's exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a thing. What, son?
Marcus, I I haven't had the opportunity yet, so no, I have not paid anything yet.
Don't look when that happens.
Everybody will know. Don't worry.
That card's getting burned.
I mean, again, so like within the video game community diaspora, the word exclusives feels like VIP. We get something nobody else gets.
Hey,
right? Kidlit, long time. How are you? So like when you talk about like Nintendo exclusives, right? All the Mario, it's a lot of Mario games that are trash, yo. Like they'll put Mario in any store, any, you know what I'm saying? But it's exclusive. You know what I mean? A lot of people play them. They buy a lot of them, right? When you talk about exclusive titles that Nintendo has, like people will tell you, like their games are top notch. Like even when they don't review well, like they're not glitchy. They don't have like Bethesda jank in them or any of that kind of stuff. Appreciate you, kid. Have a wonderful evening. But like that don't necessarily mean they sell super well. Like you know what I mean, or that they even are reviewed as great games. People just don't complain because they're like, I mean, it's Nintendo. You know what I mean? So like it is what it is, right? There's an expectation that PlayStation has built for their exclusives that are around single player narrative games, right? God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us. Those are the kinds of games that you can expect if you play on PlayStation. And Microsoft, on the other hand, has generally had really great exclusives that have been more geared. Oh my God, not the Philips CDI Nintendo exclusive trash. Microsoft has done more live service, multiplayer, Gears of War, Halo, even Forza. It's it's a multiplayer, it's a racing game. Multiple people can get in there. Like those things have tended to be more of what they are. And when I look at the history of what's happened, PlayStation spent time trying to chase Halo, right? And it didn't work out for them. So they were like, all right, we're not going to do that. We're going to go in this lane. On the flip side, Microsoft has spent time trying to chase the single player narrative, right? So let's go pay Square a bunch of money to get the new Tomb Raider 2 exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it backfires, right? And they try to get a single player narrative and they just can't quite get it off the ground. Like even Fable, when they released the second and third one, had co-op, right? Like they just have had that kind of a thing. And it was important because for them, I would say Xbox Live was really the thing that set them apart. So we have this thing as Xbox Live. Playing online is a big deal. We want games on our platform that are about people connecting over Xbox Live because we're offering an experience that you really can't get anywhere else, right? So now they kind of shifted, and I feel like they kind of should have stayed in their lane, right? And I feel the same way about Sony. Like right now, Sony chasing live service. Like by the time they get that kind of stuff off the ground, as long as it takes to build a game, people won't care about that stuff anymore. And it has been backfiring against them. And so they're like starting to cancel stuff and kind of like, all right, we might need to lean into what we were already doing well and what set us apart and what people do expect from us, right? So not that Helldivers 2 isn't doing incredible numbers right now, because it is. But it's also a $40 game that is the very first game that they have ever released day and date, PlayStation and PC at the same time. There's a reason why it's doing well. Somebody at Sony decided to do a Microsoft and release day and date on PC. And they are now seeing the benefit, right? I also think that Microsoft is now in a place, especially having made the acquisition and having had the opportunity to go over the numbers and really look at the books and see how much money is being made by these third party on these other platforms, and go, hey, dog.
Oh, what do we wait? Give me this pot. Let me stop throwing on and give me this pot.
And here's my thing. Regardless of what they do, it probably really won't affect me. Right? I like Xbox. I like what they do. I prefer the controller. I like the ecosystem. I'm in there. I'm not going anywhere, right? So as long as they're making hardware, I'm good, right?
Yeah.
I'll be there. They're not going to stop making hardware. There are too many places, not just in the US, but throughout the globe, which again, they're trying to extend their footprint where people just don't have the internet
Yeah.
to not have this or to not, you know what I mean? Like they're just, some of those things just aren't going away, right? But there's also a part of this like, you know what? We could just let somebody else worry about that. You know what I mean? And all we have to do is focus on making great games. Again, I don't think the hardware goes away. I think they say, not like if you want to pay $70 for Starfield on PlayStation, by all means. Because the Steam numbers for Starfield were incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to have Game Pass and not pay $70 for these titles, you need some form of Xbox / Microsoft / Windows hardware.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In some manner. Something that runs Game Pass.
Right.
Period. And the next hardware they build will be built to make Game Pass work better than it works any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can have it hard to a connection. Sure, it'll have a large hard drive so you can download games, but I'm sure that they're looking at making it a streaming box in some manner, right? What I want to see happen on Thursday, more than anything else, is I want to see them give very clear and concise, like, this is what we're doing. This is what you can expect. And if they have to say, without, being jerks about it, we reserve the right to adjust this as necessary, right? To, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't want is for there to be any more, like, I think a lot of times what Microsoft does to themselves is they put themselves in a position where the things they're doing can be questioned. And I think when you have a following, when you have people that are in your ecosystem that have put money into it, when you have people that have built a loyalty based on the idea of exclusivity and what that means in terms of feeling special, feeling like you're getting something that somebody else doesn't get. So, like, I hear a lot of people saying, yo, it's crazy to feel like it's not a good thing if all these other people get to play this game too. And if these developers who work so hard on this game get to see more money come in because this great game that they make is stuck on this thing and more people get to play it. While I understand that sentiment, it also is the same thing as saying, I know you paid for VIP, we're going to let everybody in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you paid $300. You know what I'm saying? Have a good one.
All right, Drew.
We know you paid extra, you know what I mean, to have this experience. We're gonna let everybody do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you get there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would make you feel some kind of way, right? Even though, and you can say, well, they didn't pay extra for an Xbox, right? An Xbox costs the same as a PlayStation, but they made a decision to go Xbox, maybe, and not go PlayStation because of the promise of exclusivity or because of the promise of Game Pass or whatever that thing is, right? And it might be the same thing with a Nintendo, right? So, I totally get that. That when you throw around words like exclusive, which again, it's just more or less synonymous, not just with video games, but with console wars.
Mm-hmm.
That word becomes synonymous with feeling like you get something special that somebody else doesn't get, and that you're owed that because that's what they told you. That's kind of what it is. So if you paid to have access to a room that only the people who pay for that are supposed to get, and then they turn around and go, I mean, there's still extra space, so we just gonna let more people in. You know what I mean? Even though they didn't pay, you would feel something. You know what I'm saying? You would feel some kind of way about that. And I think that's a lot of what it is that's happening. And I think part of the reason why that happens is because Microsoft will do stuff like debut the trailer for Blade and not put an Xbox logo on it, not put that it's an exclusive title to them, not put. And so the next day, there's all kinds of articles and people going back and forth saying, man, I don't know, this joint might not be exclusive. It's probably going to PlayStation, then going to whatever. Maybe there was still a deal in place. Maybe they had this deal in place with Marvel before they did such and such. And so now they have to put it here and whatever. And so it causes all this additional speculation because they're not clear and concise. So they got to be clear in their communication about what they're doing and what that means going forward. I don't even necessarily feel like they have to say, this is the exact reason why you need to be an Xbox person or be in the Xbox ecosystem. I think they need to say, even if it is, regardless of whether you play on Xbox or you play on PlayStation or you play on Nintendo, our games will be there for you. But if you're playing on Xbox or PC, you will have access to Game Pass. And that means that you could get these games without having to pay the additional money. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. And you have to be super careful about how you word that, because you also don't want to alienate the other people who you're now trying to sell games to by going, oh yeah, come on in. Spend 70. You know what I'm saying? Or spend 300 or 250. You know what I mean? Because again, you can get a Series S for 300 instead of 400, 500. Come on in. So I think the biggest thing is they got to be very clear.
Yeah.
You just got to be clear and let people know. People should not, when the podcast is over, people should not be doing podcasts, shows like these, writing articles that go, I'm not sure what this means.
Right.
Yeah.
Or saying, well, what about this? Or what happens if, or, you know what I mean? Like those things should not be left on the table where people just don't know. Even if they don't like it, they should know what's happening. That's just where I'm at. So because it doesn't technically affect me directly, again, I do feel like I'm gonna feel some kind of way because if you say exclusive, I expect exclusive. That's, you know what I mean? Because that's what it said.
That's what it said.
As far as I'm concerned. And like if they were to change that, it would not surprise me if within a week there are class action lawsuits against Microsoft, even if they just are saying it's a verbal contract, because this is what you said. You said exclusive, and now it's not, right? Or whatever, right? Trust me, there's a lawyer who's willing to take that on.
Always is.
It might not work, but trust me, there's a lawyer.
They're gonna shoot their shot.
Wouldn't you?
Hey.
So, as long as they're clear about what they say,
should be in good shape.
I'm gonna watch it when I get off.
Same.
I don't know how long it's gonna take. You know what I mean, or whatever. I'm gonna watch it when I get off, and I'll figure out what it means. But there are people who are expecting this to be like world change, like, yo, this is gonna change the video game, and in some manner it might, right? Because it's just kind of like, I think Microsoft is already making more money than their competitors. Like Xbox specifically is making more money than their competitors, even though they're not selling as many consoles and they are technically in quote unquote third place. But that third place is very specific to console sales. It's very specific to console sales. They're making a lot of money. Like making money, not like there's money coming, like they're making money. So it's not like they're hurting. They want more, and that's cool. If they do this and this works, can you imagine how it would flip things? If there's just so much money rolling in that now, like, people can't, like, if they're in Sony's position where Sony was just like, nah, you can't do crossplay. If you want to do crossplay, you gotta pay us extra.
Yeah, give us. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, if it just became that, like, well, nah, it's just like those games they sell so well. You know what I mean?
Put that foot back down in the sand again.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I don't want to talk about it next week. We probably will have.
Are you going to?
We don't do a reaction or something on Thursday, so we'll talk about that later. Let's wrap the show up. Jokes, you got a job to do. I want to say that I am very proud of the streaming service that we use for only kicking us out once. Very proud. I was so
Could've been
sure.
worse.
But look, we only talk bad about Batman once. Wayne Tech only got us one time. That's just, you know what I mean? Like,
my PC already acting up. I want to reset this thing ASAP.
I feel you. Sin, do your job.
Yes, let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Hey, do me a favor, y'all, and work really hard to let other people know that they can join Patreon and become our top 10 patrons, because I would love for that list to get so long that Sin can't do it from memory.
We're just gonna do a scroll. It's just gonna turn into a scroll.
Hey, Sin, at least one time you gonna read every single name on that list at least one time.
At least one time.
Well, that's possible. That's content. You can make a video out of it. Put it, you know what I mean? Post it on it. Yeah. Listen. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for spending the evening with us. Hope everybody has a wonderful Valentine's Day tomorrow. If that's a thing you do. If it's not a thing you do, then don't go out to eat, because you're not gonna be able to get in
anything. Yep.
Don't go to the movies, because movies might be empty. The movies might be empty though. You might be fine.
Ain't nothing there.
You might be fine if you want to go to the movies. But or just come home and play games. You know what I mean? It's always be playing games. It'll be fine. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. We do have KatsuCon this weekend, so we'll be in the building Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our panel is on Saturday from 5 to 6:30.
Yes.
And it is in Live 6 is the name of the room that we're in. So if you're going to be at KatsuCon, come check us out. We're going to have a good time, expecting a good crowd. Otherwise, if you're at Katsu and you see us, come say hi. Even if you don't make it to the panel, come speak to us. We would love to we need to take some selfies with some of y'all when we see y'all out there. So let's do that. Let's get that popping. Let's get that going. Again, Monday, we're having our discussion on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So look for that. And then we go right back into another Loading Science Weekly on Tuesday. Jokes, what's going on with the Finisher?
Episode 1 of the Finisher podcast is live on Patreon. There's a small snippet that you guys can watch outside of it, but if you want the full one, you got to go over to Patreon. Saturday, episode 2 will drop. Same concept. Patreon, you're going to get the full. This one was about an hour long, because after we had a good conversation, then another topic came up. So you're actually getting something a little bit extra there too, because another topic came out of another conversation that we were having. So stay tuned for that. Preview will come for the rest of you, but if you want to watch the whole entire thing, you got to come over to Patreon.
Gotta be there. Who loves Scott Pilgrim? Yeah, I expect you in the chat on Monday, Deanna. You love Scott Pilgrim. Sin? Thriller Park Thursdays.
Thriller Park Thursdays, 9:30 p.m. Join us in there. We wrapped up Kakaguri Season 1 last Thursday. Everybody agreed to keep pushing on, so we're going to keep rocking with Season 2. So more gambling, more weirdness, and more crazy women. More insane and crazy women gambling against each other. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Join us 9:30, episodes 1 through 3 of Season 2 this week, 9:30 p.m.
Cool. Remember to hit that Beacons link, and from there you can find our Discord. Jump in, join the Discord, hang out with us. Again, if you're interested in being a mod, shoot one of us a DM so we can look at doing that. Because again, we'd like to open that space up to get more people in to just chat and talk about different topics and things like that. So feel free to do that. Jokes? Tell the people what I need them to know.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
It's a fact. With that, we're out. Tools and loops.
Loading snacks.